And so, my fellow Americans, ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for yourself.
We are the last Americans. We are the last Americans. We are the last Americans.
I'll fix that in audio for all.
Happy Wednesday, man. Everybody's alive. Well, a lot of people are alive in Texas. We're good.
Yeah. Oh, there was some death.
There was a couple.
There was like 13 total, I think.
Yeah, I don't know the number. I know there was like some 70-year-old woman that had a tree fall on the second story of her house, killed her, man. So it's not good. Big tree too, man.
Police officer died too.
Oh, damn. Yeah, we obviously we had to cancel the show, guys. On Monday.
We were in the eye of it. We were in the eye of a hurricane when the show was supposed to.
No, that's not true. But we didn't have power.
We were in the eye.
No, Sunday. Sunday was the storm.
No.
And, yeah, it was Sunday. And then Monday, we just had no power. We were dealing with the... well, Sunday night. It was actually about 3 in the morning on... am I wrong?
You're wrong. It was Monday at 11, like 10, 11.
Yeah, it was. Fuck,
Yeah.
I don't even know. Dude, I'm all mixed up. We didn't have power, regardless. Neither of us had power, so...
Yeah,
we couldn't do
the
show.
power went out here probably about the same time as you.
9 a.m. or
Yeah,
so.
about 8:30, 9 o'clock Monday
Yeah.
morning.
Yeah. Yeah, it was... it was a storm. You know? What do you say?
Storm.
I thought it was, it was obviously devastating for some people, and it was not for us, thank God, right? We didn't have any damage to the house.
It was kind of like camping.
It was an intense camping, but I don't want to make light of it. There's obviously a lot of people that got their homes destroyed and flooding and all the things people died.
Yeah, no.
There
there was definitely way worse areas.
for sure, man.
Like we caught the tail end of the storm, honestly.
Yeah, and luckily, by the grace of God, it was not as bad as it could have been, right? Like you never know. And what's funny is you watch the lead up videos, because obviously we live in the area that the path was going to be. We're North Houston. They were saying it was going to hit Corpus Christi and so forth, and so you're keeping track, and you get a lot of people on social media who are. They're meteorologists themselves, apparently. There's just a ton of meteorologists that just do it from their house now. Yeah. And they're all saying, they're lying to you. It's going to hit directly at Houston. You just listen to it and you're like, okay, well, maybe. I don't know. I'm not a meteorologist. I don't know what I'm looking at. But I do know that those storms generally hit the coast and move around. And so at the end of the day, we were actually in Galveston on Saturday. We spent the day in Galveston. I figured, let's go down to Galveston and enjoy it before it goes away. Because, a part of me was like, maybe Galveston's going to be gone. That's not true because it's been around forever. But we had a beautiful day. We got home, kind of got prepared a little bit, and let it happen. It just happened, man. So regardless, everybody's safe over here in our families, which is great. We have power back. A lot of people don't, but we do.
That's true. There's a lot of people still don't have power.
Yeah. And I'm back at working and just moving on, right?
Yeah, it's funny because the journey didn't really end for me when the power came back on. Because the power came back on last night at like 1 a.m. We had the generator going, and we were like using the hotspot from our phone. We were watching a movie, and we're sitting there, and all of a sudden, every light in the house comes back on. We're like, oh, like we were living in the dark for ages. And we're like, oh yes. Yeah, and then we fucking run out. We fucking shut the generator off. We get everything fucking kind of back situated again. I wake up in the morning to go to work, and I walk outside, and my well pump pressure tank is gushing water 20 feet across the fucking property, and I go, fuck. So now I had to call into work today also to replumb and change out a pressure tank on my well. So
but now you got a new one.
Now I got a new well, and everything's good now. Yeah, so now I'm finally
you're good.
to go.
Just so you know, I got a little tickle in the old throat. I might cough a little bit, so plug your ears if you see me. Do that. Just plug your ears. But no, we're here, man. We got lots to talk about today. Greg is not here, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Baseball. Do we need to say more? There's a lot going on with sports right now, but we're here. And we got some fun articles, some interesting articles. I think things that we want to touch upon, and obviously based off the title here, the SAVE Act, man. That's what people are talking about
Save.
right now. And I'm just gonna start it off by just being honest. It ain't going anywhere. Not gonna go
Probably
anywhere.
not.
No, it ain't going to. I mean,
The amount of I think it was 198 Democrats voted against it.
yeah,
So
that's in the House.
and
yeah.
the Senate is Democrat controlled right now.
yeah.
So definitely not gonna pass there.
No.
But that kind of goes to show you like where the priorities are, right?
Well, so I want to be fair, okay? Because we actually, listen, I'm obviously biased a little bit, but we say the same thing about Democrats, right? You create these bills, and then they load them with a bunch of other bullshit, and they'll say, well, Republicans didn't want to save the troops, but it wasn't about the troops. It was the fact that they added $1 billion to Ukraine in that bill, right? And they don't want to support that in certain things. So I was curious on like what exactly is going on here. But it seems that the majority of people just think that there's Democrats think that they don't want to vote for this because it's pointless. That's what they're saying. I mean, if you want to put it into a nutshell, it's pointless because we already have law.
Yeah. Well, their campaign thing came out with a statement, and that's basically what they said. Here it is. Here, the statement of administration policy, HR 8200, Safeguard American Voter Eligibility Act. The administration strongly opposes HR 8281, the Safeguard American Voter Eligibility Act. It is already illegal for non-citizens to vote in federal elections, which is true.
It is true. But it's illegal to kill somebody, and people do. That's the argument to the other side.
Yeah.
Is that like just because there's a law that prevents it from happening doesn't mean that it doesn't happen. And
Well, they say, I don't know who wrote this. Definitely not Joe Biden.
no.
But they said down here, where is it? The evidence is clear that the current laws to prevent non-citizen voting are working as intended. It is extraordinarily rare for non-citizens to break the law by voting in federal elections.
So there was an article that I read that had claimed, without further proof, that I kind of laugh because it's a little like, okay, come on. It claimed that only 30 illegals voted in an election with, however many there were.
30.
30. That's it.
How do
Only
they count
30.
that?
I don't know. Payton, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you very much.
That's super. Glad you guys weathered the storm. We appreciate that. Thank you so much. We love those, man. We love doing those. It's really nice, man. Gets a little butterflies in the little belly. Thank you. I don't know if I believe that. I don't know if I believe that only 30. Okay.
Yeah.
The problem is it's really, and I think what's his face? Go back to that. Go back to what you just said. Who posted this? Speaker Mike Johnson.
Yeah.
So he had claimed, he's like, listen, it's hard to prove how many illegals actually voted, which is why we want to do this in the first place. It's really a second stop, right, to a bill that should be working, to enact, a law that's already in place that should be working, but we can't really verify it. And on top of that, we gotta be honest too. Just because it's there doesn't mean that people aren't abusing that.
Exactly.
So there are people that are turning a blind eye to people registering.
And like
vote.
you said, like just because it is illegal and there is a punishment for it, doesn't mean that while people are showing up to the voting booths, that those laws are being enacted upon, and you're going, "Hey, are you actually supposed to be here?"
Yeah.
That's not happening.
Yeah, again, it passed the House. That was expected. I think we got, I think it was 5 Democrats that actually voted in favor of this.
Yeah.
Good for those 5, because I think it is kind of a no-brainer. I see a tweet that says this is a no-brainer here, but it was, what was the actual vote here? It was 221 to 198. All Republicans voted yay. 5 Democrats voted yay.
Yeah.
And so they had a total of 221, which is great. I mean, it passed fine. But now it goes to the Senate. We all know that they're probably not even going to vote on this. With everything going on, the election's coming.
Not even going to vote?
I've heard people say they're just gonna push this off to the wayside and just not really vote on it.
I actually did see a thing today too that they are going to use this. The fact that they probably won't pass it, they're going to use this to push off of the congressional debt thing that's in September. And they're going to say, hey, this has to happen or we're going to shut the government down on this.
I don't
know.
Yeah, I don't know. I just don't understand why this is complicated. But you get these weird things where can you go to the article that just it kind of breaks down? It's the one to the right, two to the right.
This one?
Yeah, it breaks down what the Safeguard American Voter. How does it said? Safeguard American Voter Eligibility Act.
Yeah.
Or the SAVE Act. This bill requires individuals to provide documentary proof of U.S. citizenship in order to register to vote in a federal election. That seems pretty basic to me. I mean, I feel like that shouldn't be complicated.
Yeah.
Specifically, the bill prohibits states from accepting and processing an application to register to vote in a federal election unless the applicant presents documentary proof of U.S. citizenship. Further, the bill prohibits states from registering an individual to vote in a federal election unless at the time of individual applies to register to vote, the individual provides documentary proof of U.S. citizenship. And 2, requires states to establish an alternative process under which an applicant may submit other evidence to demonstrate U.S. citizenship. So it's giving you a couple options even on top of it. Each state must take affirmative steps on an ongoing basis to ensure that only U.S. citizens are registered to vote, which shall include establishing a program to identify individuals who are not U.S. citizens using informative supply. I got a glitch in the screen. What's that say? Information supplied by specific sources. Additionally, the bill requires states to remove non-citizens from their official lists of eligible voters, which I think that's great. You're clearing up the system.
And that has been a problem for a long time. Like even during 2020 and 2016, like how many times have people pointed out like how a ridiculous number of people are on these voter registration things that are either not citizens, don't live in the state anymore, are dead. Yeah. Like this would help clean up all that, which it should be gone through every year anyway.
I agree with you, and there are websites out there that you can look and see how many people are applying. To
like I seen something that was like over 2,000 something just here in Texas, where like 2,000 a day were applying for voter registration, which doesn't make any sense because they're like there isn't that many people moving here. Yeah. So where are all these people coming from?
And we talked about it a couple of weeks ago, well, maybe it was a month or two ago at this point, I can't remember, but we talked about that little tiny loophole in the wording of one of the bills, which said that as long as they believe that they're citizens, they can vote. Now,
maybe it wasn't 2,000, maybe it was 200 something.
It might have been, but do you remember that shit? Where they said,
if the
citizen believes that they're actually citizens, they can vote. Now, I think to not just stop it there. I think they're supposed to. They wouldn't get a charge for it. They would, but the process should. They vote. They believe they're citizens. They vote. The process should say, no, you're actually not a citizen, but because you may have thought you were, we're not going to charge you for it, but you're not allowed to vote. The problem is the system broken? That's what all of this comes down to.
I don't know.
Is the system broken?
Honestly, I don't know how much the system is broken or how much the system isn't utilized.
It's broken. I would just call it broken. I think it's underutilized.
I think the rules are there, and if they're followed, then I think everything would work fairly well. But the problem is that you got all these people doing these jobs that aren't going to enforce rules and then letting things slip under when they shouldn't.
But I would call that broken. I would say that when you have areas of a bill that have loopholes that allow this to pass through and not have any
loopholes would be broken. Yes, I agree.
But if somebody is allowing this to happen, let's just say that they are, right? Because there's evidence that says, no, this does not happen. There's people that say this happens all the time. Somewhere in the middle, there's a truth to this whole thing. But at the end of the day, if people are turning a blind eye and allowing it to happen, and there's no punishment for it, and the person is allowed to vote, okay, and cast a vote, which negates your vote or my vote or whoever is listening right now's vote, right? There's no punishment for it, so I consider that broken. You know what I'm saying? Because there's nobody held accountable. You can just say, well, I didn't know, whatever they want to do, right? But there's people out there registering illegals to vote now.
For sure.
Right now. And so how are we preventing that? And I think that's where this bill comes into play. It was a stopgap to what already exists. And
it was a way to prevent the loopholes.
Like an amendment towards what was already there. And so again, this is going to go to the Senate, and I have a feeling that this is not going to go anywhere.
Probably not. I don't think I don't think the Democrats are going to let this go through. And I think Joe Biden already said. I think there was something, I don't remember where it was. I just seen that he already said he was going to veto it if it did pass.
He did say he was going to veto it.
Yeah. So,
but this is what they do, man. So this is the funny thing, man. I feel like, this is the main title. I think that people are talking about it, but there's not much to say right now. It passed the House. We expected that to happen. It's going to go to the Senate. We expect it to not pass. And it's going to go to the wayside, and the election's going to come, and this probably will not be anything. And we're going to have to deal with whatever is already happening, right?
Yeah.
Hopefully catching it. Maybe there's more eyes, because we have talked about that, have we not? Where I think people are more aware. I think you're going to see more people at voting facilities watching what's going on more than even before, because there's shady shit. And I think we saw enough footage of people doing really shady shit at polling booths. And not only that, but at drop boxes, bro.
Yeah.
It wouldn't shock me if patriots are out there at Dropbox. Now, what they'll say, the Democrats will say, is it's intimidation.
Voter intimidation, yeah. But I mean, what else the fuck are you supposed to do?
Well,
like if the public in general, and like if the majority of the public has a suspicion that weird shit's going on, and none of the people that are supposed to be representing them is taking any action to negate the fact that it could be happening and doing something to ease the mind of their constituents, then what the fuck are you supposed to do? At that point, you have to take matters into your own hands, and you go, okay, I'm going to sit here, and I'm going to make sure nothing weird happens.
Dude, I think the best thing you could, listen, I to avoid having that put on you, right? That it's intimidation or any of this stuff. Because I could see,
watch from afar with binoculars.
There you go.
And record everything.
Listen, sit on a park bench the next block where you get nice view and just film it.
Get yourself that Galaxy S23 Super Zoom, and then you sit in your car in the fucking parking lot across the street, and you fucking zoom in with your fucking tripod camera, and then you just go,
that Samsung
I fucking
shit,
got everybody that goes here.
You can zoom in on
you could see, you could you could zoom so far you could probably see through the envelope and see the actual name on there and see if it's right.
That's interesting. That is interesting.
that's actually impossible.
That's probably, well, no, you know what's funny though? Well, first of all, I was talking about Samsung the other day, and I had this article pop up, which I didn't know was the case. They do have great cameras, no doubt about it. But they had this app or this thing on the phone where you could zoom into the moon.
Oh yeah, There's a moon function where it's an AI thing.
I know, but people were like, "Man, this is incredible! How good this camera is."
Yeah, it's not real.
And it's not real, man.
Yeah, I think the zoom, when you zoom with the camera, I think that's more real.
Yeah.
But it does alter the definition once you take the picture. But I think the moon app thing that they had, that's fake for sure.
I did see this thing. I don't know if it's real. I doubt it's real. I'm going to just start off by saying I don't think it's real. But I'm interested because I have an Oculus. And somebody made a video where they because with your Oculus on, it goes into a gray mode. I don't know if any of you use the Oculus or not, but it goes into a gray mode where you have your vicinity that you can play in, and you kind of set the boundaries.
Okay.
And when you're in there, not in the game, it has this black and white where you can see everything around you, so you don't bump into anything. It's like a black and white kind of thing, but it has markers and stuff that you can see. Somebody claimed that they looked at their TV remote, which was sitting right there, and they could see the batteries.
Oh, I seen that picture.
Through the
I seen that. That's fucking sick.
It's weird because I don't know that to be true. It seems like it wouldn't be true. But I have one, so I could test the theory, and I'm going to, because if that's true, I'm like, what's in that system? You know what I'm saying? That you can actually see through the plastic. It becomes
X-ray?
Kind of.
No, not kind of. That's exactly what that is. If you're looking through a plastic cover,
I know, but
that
you
covers
can't
the
see
batteries.
all the internals. That's the one thing that I thought was funky about it.
Oh,
it showed the batteries in there, and it showed the
I think the picture I saw, it was only. There was only a certain part of it that was over that part of the remote.
See, I don't know. I
don't
want to try it though, because I think it's an interesting kind of fun thing. But I also want to give a quick shout. We have a bunch of people in the chat. A lot of our longtime listeners. We really appreciate you guys. I did see very early on, before we even started the show, Whiskey Shaman, a great friend, great dude. It's his daughter's 17th birthday. He said he's feeling old. Happy birthday to her.
Happy birthday, little Whiskey.
Don't feel old though. You know what I'm saying? We all, it's a good thing. It's a good thing.
I have a 13,
you're young.
I have a 13-year-old.
I know, that's wild, bro.
Yeah,
it's wild. 17 though. That's an age. You know what I'm saying?
That
It's
is.
1 year from the old adulthood. You know what I'm saying? I
can't even imagine
I can't think. I got like what 6 years or so before that happens. So, anyways, we can leave that be. I to go back to the whole SAVE Act thing. There's not much to be said more about it. I want to keep an eye on it because I do think that these are the kind of things going forward in elections that we really need to have in place.
Oh, for sure.
If we're gonna have like not, it's just it has to be an election that people believe is secure.
Well, and the thing is, like how you're saying, they're commenting, the Democrats commenting, we already have laws against voting of non-citizens and stuff like that. And there's punishments for it and stuff like that. Yes, but you need something that is going to get it to that point. Because, like we said, you show up to the poll. Right now, there's no way to prove whether that person's a citizen or not. Now, if the SAFE Act was to be implemented, now you have the voter ID thing. So you have to show this proof at the poll, and then if it's not, then boom, you're caught and you broke these laws. But it's just that one step that is going to make all those other laws more usable.
Yeah, and we know that there's laws on top of laws on top of laws on all kinds of things. You make a law, it doesn't always work the way you want it to, so you have to make other laws because people find loopholes. They find, So to me, that's kind of, if it really is nothing, if we already have it and it's not a big deal, then why not just vote for it? That's my question.
Well, because it's racist.
Oh, it's racist. Well, speaking of that, which is a great lead into this next one, I think this is interesting because it's the same thing. It's a legitimate, I think, bill that's trying to be passed in California right now. And they're claiming racism on it. Okay, so this is.
You want to go this one here first?
Yeah, we'll do this one first, man. It's SB 1414. This is out of I want to say this is Sacramento. Go ahead and scroll down real quick. Let's see what it says. Sacramento, yeah. This bill SB 1414 is really it says California activists oppose bill harshening penalties for child sex trafficking and soliciting. Please tell me.
Imagine that.
Please tell me. When you see a bill that says we're going to harshen the penalties for people that are child sex trafficking,
abusing,
and soliciting children for sex, we're going to make it more punishment. Please show me the person that raised their hand that says they oppose this, because I feel like who the fuck would oppose this, right? Who would oppose this? Like any civil, normal, free-thinking human being would look at this and go like, yeah, that's one of the worst crimes that this country has is trafficking and child abuse. And when you think of people that have been convicted of crimes, even prisoners, bro, even murderers,
straight up cold-hearted fucking murderers, you go to prison for diddling fucking kids.
Yeah, man.
You're not gonna have a good time.
Yeah, you got old fucking Bob.
Like
over
you're
here.
a whole different level of low.
Yeah, he's killed 15 people. Gutted them,
and he thinks you're a piece of shit.
He's like, that is the most evil thing I've ever seen in my life. But it's reality, right? Because kids are the most vulnerable. That you want to protect children. We all want to protect children, make sure that they're safe. We all have kids.
Yes.
You don't want creeps and people taking kids, man. It's a sick thing. And so this comes up, SB 1414 pops up, and people are opposed to it, bro. And now they're saying that they're being accused, Democrats in California are being accused of watering this down, meaning they have to keep making amendments to it to get it to pass, right? So this is activists in California are opposing a bill which would increase the penalties for soliciting sex with minors. It's a bipartisan measure, SB 1414, would make it a felony offense for an adult to solicit or pay for sex with a minor. That seems like a no-brainer to me.
Is it not already a felony?
I think it breaks that down a little bit, but amendments to the measure required that those accused of soliciting sex with minors aged 16 or 17 can only be charged with the increased penalty if the minor has been a victim of sex trafficking. The quote here, I don't know who this is from, says, I believe that adults who attempt to or actually buy children for sex in the state of California should go to prison on a felony charge. For sure. Absolutely.
Yes.
That's from the bill's author, State Senator Shannon Grove, Republican from Bakersfield. She said in a hearing on the California State Assembly's Public Safety Committee last week. Several activists, however, in attendance at the hearing asked the committee members to oppose the bill due to the way it allegedly harms, quote, marginalized communities.
Oh, child rapists? That's the marginalized community?
So this is a quote from the person that runs this campaign. This is a quote from Isabella Borgeson from the Ella, what is it? The Ella, oh, you blew it up and you messed
Oh,
up.
sorry.
Ella Baker Center for Human Rights. Okay. I'd like to acknowledge the survivors of sex trafficking here today and name that we all have the shared goal of protecting children from harm. That sounds great.
Okay.
We
agree with
are
that.
concerned that the harsher penalties contained in this bill will disproportionately impact marginalized communities, particularly Black and brown individuals who already bear the brunt of systematic biases within our criminal justice system.
Wait. How does that particularly impact Black and brown individuals? The only people that impacts are people that are trying to fuck kids
Or sell kids.
or sell kids. So unless
trying to figure that out.
unless the people that are doing that the most are weirdly majority like
Hispanic.
PC people of color,
Native.
then okay. But at the same time, who gives a fuck? Because they should go to prison anyway if they're doing that.
I don't understand it.
It doesn't make any sense.
I feel like that's an easy cop out, right? Am I wrong? It's like easy to say like, well, it's racist. This is going to disproportionately.
Whoever was listening to this person should be. Oh, can you prove that statistic?
The speaker went on to suggest the committee focus on addressing, quote, the underlying issues driving exploitation. Quote, I find it to be very difficult to swallow. Assemblymember Tom Lackey, Republican District 34, replied, I think it's misguided, misdirected, however you want to put it, sympathy. Overly punitive, he asked the opposition. That's insulting to the victims. The committee went on to pass the amended version of the measure, which now sits with the Appropriations Committee. So what it comes down to is
What the fuck's an appropriations committee?
I don't know. I don't even know. I imagine it's the next
Did they
step.
have to send it to that because she said it impacts Black and brown individuals?
Well, the quote, I believe this is from, this is from that same person, I believe, the Ella, whoever. It's and this is where it gets fucking weird to me, man. Like I just, when you have to throw in all of the key statements in your piece to make sure you touch on all the aspects that could be offended by this. We do feel, this is a quote, we do feel this bill is deeply flawed and contradicts our core values and principles.
Oh, this is Kelly
Walters of Legal Services for Prisoners with Children.
Okay.
Quote, we are particularly concerned that the harsher penalties proposed in this bill will disproportionately impact marginalized communities, especially members of the LGBTQ community who already suffer from systematic biases within the criminal justice system, particularly when it comes to sexually based offenses. So what you're saying is you're concerned that your community, which is weird that you're admitting to this, the LGBTQ community may
dabble in this a little too much.
Yeah. You know, because if you remember years and years ago at this point, what was that dude's name? The gay fella that was a Republican. I can't think of it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He was... Fuck, I don't remember.
He was
his
real
name.
loud, real outspoken. It was interesting. But he put out this book, or he had some quote in a book, or he had talked about when he was gay at a young age. He kind of got what's the right words for this? He got a start, if you will, with older men. Okay, and this was very controversial at the time. I can't think of his name. It's like Mananop, something weird. But anyways, he had talked about how it was normal in the gay community as a male at a young age to experiment and kind of be exposed or taught, if you will, with older men. And that was very controversial because people were saying that's kind of a crime. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's a little bit of a crime.
It's actually just a crime. Not even a little
Well,
bit.
I'm being facetious here. It is absolutely a crime, right? If you're an older male or a female and you're with a younger person, it doesn't matter if you're gay. There's no like loophole that says, oh wait, you're gay. It's fine. You can sleep with younger people because you're gay. That's no big deal. And if there was, that's weird. You know what I'm saying? It comes down to it's just kind of
Yeah.
it's kind of weird. I don't understand. So first of all, the problem I have with both of those scenarios is, one, what are you trying to say that it's to the marginalized community? Are you insinuating, and I'm asking this as seriously as possible, that a lot of the trafficking is coming from Mexico? Are you insinuating that a lot of these people, now hear me out, I'll just play devil's advocate, I guess. The cartel stronghold themselves in these communities in Mexico. Mm-hmm. There's a fear that if they ask you to do something or you don't take part in what they do, you'll be killed, your whole family will be killed, right? That would be the argument.
Yeah.
So they get these young kids or these young men, and they force them to traffic people over into America or, you know, wherever, and they don't want to do it, but they have no other choice. Is that what they're trying to say? I mean, I'm trying to figure out, like, what are you trying to insinuate by saying that? Because I would argue that trafficking is a problem worldwide, not just with Mexico, but in America, Germany, I mean, you name it.
Fucking go to Thailand, dude. There's people that come up missing all the time.
China, bro. I mean, like, it's everywhere. This is not, it's not inclusive to one group of people by any means. So what are you trying to insinuate by saying that? Are you saying that they're going to go after Mexicans more than they would other people? I don't know.
I don't know about that.
I feel like that's a reach. All of it's a reach. And then the other one would be, why did you bring up the LGBT community? Is that because you know that sometimes, teenagers who are believing that they're gay or lesbian are hooking up with older people and you don't want to criminalize them for doing so? Is that what you're trying to insinuate? No? Because that's what I read. That's what I'm reading into it.
Well, I get that they're just trying, like usual, trying to push a narrative and not wanting to incriminate the narrative that they're trying to push.
But why?
For whatever.
Why bring that up, Chris?
I don't.
That's what I'm asking you.
Well,
seriously, why?
Because
I don't think you have a good answer. I don't have a good answer.
I don't have a good answer, but I feel like most of the time, when for whatever reason, when you find, like, just what was that show back in the day where they try to catch a predator or something like that?
Yeah.
What was that show? I feel like most of the time, all those fucking creeps that they walk in on were there to meet younger versions of the same sex.
Okay.
I don't know why. I don't know if it was because they had gay tendencies or they were homosexual themselves. I have no idea. But for some reason, when the child predators, they go after the same sex for whatever reason. I feel like there's a lot of both sides, but there's a lot of that too. And I don't know why. Obviously, I don't do that, so I can't wrap my mind around that.
What I don't want to happen, which is, unfortunately, when people, and this is one person's quote, okay? I'm not saying that this is all people in the LGBTQ community. I know that to not be true.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people in that community who do not support, running around naked in parades, and who do not support teaching children about it, because they understand that sex is for adults. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? They understand that, like, your personal preferences, no one cares about it. No one fucking cares. I mean, listen, obviously some people care, and they're fucking morons. But I'm saying, you meet somebody, they're gay, no one cares at all. Like, you go home and you sleep with a man or you sleep with another woman, don't give a shit. Are you a good person? Do you treat me with respect? You know, do you do your job well? Are you a good citizen? That's all that people care about. The problem is that I have is, just based off of other information from the past that I remember, is I do feel like there may be an issue with younger people in the community going with older people and kind of getting their start, you know, because listen, let's say you're gay, you think you're gay, you don't know where to turn to, because not everybody's gay, right? Like, that's just not.
No.
So you don't know where to go to. Sometimes you go to a club, obviously that'd be if you're a little bit older, or you just get around people who may be older, and maybe that's your first experiences. I don't know, but I'm assuming. But in my opinion, the law is the law.
Yeah.
If you're choosing to go underage, it doesn't matter if you're gay or straight. We're all equal, right? So you should be punished for that. There is no, like, loophole that says, well, if you're gay, you can get away with being with somebody who's younger. That's just a weird thing. So to go back, why was that even brought up? I don't know, man. That sounds like you know that happens, and you don't want that to affect that community. That's what it sounds like to me.
Well, yeah. I feel like if you're opposing this, you're in support of, which I don't care if you are in support of the LGBT whatever community. It doesn't matter to me.
Yeah.
But the fact that you're in support of that, and then this kind of issue comes up, and you're willing to try to slide things under the rug because you know it disproportionately affects that community, that's fucked up.
Yeah. And there's
like, you should just be able to call a spade and be like, yeah, I do support this community, but doing this is wrong.
I agree. And there already are things, right, where there's a lot of like, account by account basis where you're analyzing the situation and not blanketing. You know what I'm saying? I know from reading articles over the years with the show, there's situations where somebody's got charges. Let's say you're 18, you're a senior in high school, you're 17 or 18 years old, you're dating a sophomore, you know what I'm saying? You're together for years, all of a sudden you're 18 now, they're 17 or 16, and all of a sudden, for whatever reason, they get a charge, because they were with somebody younger. Like, obviously, we've seen that happen, and I think in a lot of situations, those get kind of thrown off. Like, listen, they've been together, the parents are aware of the situation, like, it is what it is on that. This is not that. This is not the same thing. And we're kind of getting off into just hookup and stuff, but I think what the real thing with this is trafficking and soliciting. So, offering money to somebody who's underage, and prostitution would be in that situation. No one's okay with that. And if you say that, well, I mean, I would feel so sick personally, right? If I'm like, well, I mean, guys, but I mean, listen, I want them to be punished, but I don't want it to, like, what if it affects, like, who says that? That makes me sick to think that somebody actually is sitting around listening and reading this stuff, and they're actually in their head thinking logically to them, oh, we can't allow this to happen. It's gonna mess with marginalized communities.
I feel like if you were any kind of normal person, and you heard that was happening. Well, obviously not even that you heard. Everybody knows it happens. So the fact that you are just trying to ignore that it happens, and trying to make laws go away that may not help your agenda that we are doing, but you kind of want to ignore this thing that's happening. You can't do that.
No.
And if you are doing that, you shouldn't be in a position where you're making laws. You shouldn't be in a position where you're in control of the outcomes of things like this.
I agree. Now, the article, to be fair, did say that there was activists asking that this not be put forward, right? So it was an activist community.
Well, there's always going to be.
Yeah, and so it obviously did pass.
And then
I think they had to water it down, though.
Then you go outside and you go, so you don't want... what are you involved in? You don't want this to pass. What are you guys doing?
Who do you know?
Yeah, who do you know that this is going to disproportionately affect? Because we might want to talk to that person with some police.
Yeah, it's...
Cause there's no other reason why you'd want to say, hey, we can't have that pass.
I don't know either, man. Yeah, that's why it struck me. I actually sent this article over second to the rest of the articles that I want to talk, because I saw it and I was like, what the fuck? Like, this is the kind of stuff to me that when I've always talked about how I'm not confident that people are changing. I think a lot of people in this country are changing.
I think people are changing. I think this wouldn't have been proposed if people weren't thinking differently. But the fact that a small activist group is now going, oh, we might have to listen to these 10 people out here.
I know, but man, it's just, listen, it's in combination with what we just talked about with the other bill, the SAVE Act. It's the same thing.
It is the same.
It's the same situation where people are not passing legitimate bills because they're concerned about the other side, or it's going to affect the agenda of everything that's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Like that, those are sick individuals.
Well, I mean, if they're either sick or they're compromised.
Oh, they're definitely compromised.
So either you're fucked up in the head and you think I have to kind of work my way around this so I can still allow this to happen, but also like kind of play the fucking fence on this, or you're compromised and you have to do this because it's going to benefit you personally somewhere else.
That's just a lot, man. You're right. You're absolutely right. I know you're right. I'm just like, how could you have to live with yourself at the end of the day? You know, and it doesn't seem like this is one of those whatever omnibus bills that have a bunch of extra baggage on it. You know what I'm saying? Like this is simply both of these bills or acts or whatever are both situations where there's not much else to it. This is what it is. This is what we're hoping to do from it. And it still doesn't have support. And it's really from one party.
Well, when it comes to the SAVE Act, I mean, it is from one party, and that all the people that were sitting on the fence come election time, and they're going, "Oh yeah, actually, we do have a problem with this border. We do have a problem in these areas. We do have a problem with the economy in New York and fucking all these places where this is weirdly like causing chaos and causing disruption in our economy." This is fucking why.
This is the other thing that fucking makes me mad too, is that like, pass the fucking bill. Let's hypothetically, I'm just going to make this up. I don't believe this to be true. I already said it, right? I don't believe that it's just Mexico doing this. I think it's everybody, every country has them.
It's not just Mexico.
But
not even close.
So let's say you're concerned about it being brown or black citizens are going to be more affected with this for whatever reason you have for that, right? Let's say
according to Biden, they don't know how to get down to get a driver's license.
True that, yeah. And
they don't have IDs. Like they just don't know how to do it.
Was it Kathy Hochul who was saying that black individuals don't even know what a computer is? I think she's the one that said that too. Okay, so let's say they start busting all these people for trafficking or soliciting, right? Let's say not real, but let's say it's 80% the Mexican culture that's doing it. Okay. What happens with murder cases, with anything that's already in law, crimes? If somebody's in there and they're willing to talk, you get reduced sentences, right? Mm-hmm. Are you willing to rat out? Are you willing to tell us who is? Because the person that's smuggling females, children, men across the border, trafficking, they're not the head honchos. Those are no. So
they're way down.
So why don't you just say this? You pass the bill and say, listen, I want to make sure that communities aren't, being overtaken by this. So please stop doing this. Like you are going to be punished for it. You're going to go to prison for the rest of your life. If you catch somebody, you say, listen, you're going to go to prison the rest of your life. Or we'll give you like a 30-year, 40-year sentence if you tell us where this is coming from, who's doing it, who's the ringleader, who's the, you know what I mean? That's how it all works. Okay? But you can't just, like, if somebody, to your point you said earlier, if you're the one breaking the law and you're the one trafficking people, whether you were forced, I lost my headphones there. If you were forced to or not, you still are doing it.
Yeah.
So if you get caught and you can prove, okay, you trafficked a bunch of kids in a van, you get caught, you're now sitting in a cell and you got the FBI or the fucking Border Patrol talking to you. If you can say, listen, I know this is a crime. I was told I was going to be beheaded if I didn't do this shit. And here's the proof. And here's blah, blah, blah. We can work with you. You know what I'm saying? We can work with you.
Well,
if you can prove that and we can say, you know what? I actually believe this guy was told that he was going to get killed. We still have to punish him. We have to because he did it, right? It's crime's a crime. But we can work with him. I feel like that's sane, right? Maybe we find the bigger ringleader.
That's how things would normally work.
That's what I'm saying.
Like,
so
you still did the crime. So like you're still going to do a couple years, but the fact that you were in it and now you can give us information, that's why you're only doing a couple years.
Oh my God, man. I just we can't keep we're making excuses because they think that, like, which I think is racist in itself. I'm going to be very, very honest.
Making excuses?
I think it's racist to say, even in California, which I have an article for this coming up here, but in California, they changed the law about theft and shit because they felt like it was, there's too many people in certain communities that were getting arrested, and it's generational issues, not so much that it's poverty that's the cause, maybe so to some extent. And so they changed the laws, and now they're having to readjust because it's people are leaving California. Businesses are leaving California.
Well, of course.
And so a lot of people want to put blame on the black community, or they want to put blame on the Hispanic community. None is true. Whites steal, blacks steal, Mexicans, everybody steals.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, there are some communities that are in a lot worse shape. And I think that the government has intentionally done that over decades. And if you don't know that, and you don't know that, like, let's say the ghettos and the black communities and even the low income Hispanic communities have been held down by the government, by the party that they keep voting for. Okay, because that's what's happening, right? They want them to be poor. They want them to have no fathers, no mothers. They want that. Okay, but the problem is like with these bills, they say, well, we're putting too many people in jail. Okay, well, why are we doing that? Is it because there's poverty and they're stealing? Well, you could make that case, but when you see these things in California where they're going into CVS or Target or Walmart, and there's 40 people just stealing clothes.
Oh yeah,
I would argue that that's probably not just based off of poverty.
when they just do like flash robbery.
No.
Like,
there's plenty of video out there. You can go watch police officers. There's people that are homeless. There's people that are low income. They're stealing food. And what you'll find is most of the time, the cops will say, listen, turn this up in law. We're not going to press charges, man. We'll get you some help. You know what I'm saying? Like you can tell.
most of the time, it's not that they need help.
No,
they're
but
doing
I
it
know.
just to fucking do it.
They are. But I'm saying that there are people who are starving or very hungry or have children that steal.
Yes, there is.
And I'm not
But
saying.
that's a small
Very small.
majority of it.
But that's my point. The people that you're claiming that you're concerned about already get help.
Yeah.
And most people see it and understand it. But the ones that we're talking about or that we see on videos, the reason that people are leaving California businesses, most, if not all of those cases that are happening that are leading to that decision, those are not people that are starving and hungry. And they're people that are taking advantage of a system
Yeah.
that they know that they can go in and steal up to $950 and not be prosecuted with a felony.
It just reminds me of that scene from if anybody's seen, obviously you've seen the movie Liar Liar.
Yeah.
When he gets the call and he walks in the office, like the first day he has to tell the truth, and he's like, "Hey, it's so and so on the phone. They need you. He's been arrested again." And he grabs the phone and he goes, "I need some advice or something." He goes, "Stop breaking the law, asshole!" and then he hangs up on him.
Yep.
And that's it.
Yeah.
Like, it's all these people, like, we have too many people fucking going to prison. Well, they're fucking breaking the law.
Yeah. Well,
And they're doing it on purpose. They're doing it knowingly.
Yeah.
What else do you
And
do?
if there's issues that would lead to them breaking the law, if you want to make that case, then we need to figure out what those root issues are and handle those. But we can't change the law, also. The reason I bring that up is because I do have an article here. It's from it's the first one here, Sacramento. This is, of course, Sacramento.
We're just on a Sacramento episode tonight.
This fucking pisses me off, man, though. Sacramento city attorney threatens Target that it will face fines for reporting retail theft. They're claiming that it's a nuisance call. So apparently there's a Target in Sacramento.
What?
Yeah. That calls the police when they have theft. There's so many thefts and so many calls to the police department that the attorney is now threatening that they're going to start fining Target for calling the police because they're saying it's a nuisance call. And they shouldn't call over that. There's nothing they can do about it. And you're clogging up all the system just for your bullshit theft. Sacramento City Attorney's Office has issued a warning to gigantic national retailer Target that it will face fines for reporting so many retail theft coincidences. I'm not going to read all the fluff because this is definitely more of a right-leaning site, so I want to try to keep it.
Yeah.
You can see the Orwellian kind of shit. But it says, think about it. Target reports retail theft to a city of Sacramento, hoping for any enforcement, and the city's attorney gets mad that there are so many nuisance calls. According to the Bee, city officials threatened to Target. Now, when I saw that, I was like, wait, is this fake? Because I was thinking,
according to the Bee, the Babylon Bee.
but this is all over. This is not fake. This is being talked about in all different aspects. So the same city attorney, Susanna Alcala Wood, who, rather than working to improve the graded quality of life in Sacramento residents and taxpayers, asked a superior court to dismiss the Sacramento DA's lawsuit against the city of Sacramento for failing to abate the homeless crisis. I don't know where that fucking came from. But the alleged warning issued by Sacramento city officials and similar actions by other cities across the state prompted lawmakers to add an amendment to a retail theft bill that would outlaw such threats made by authorities. So the big topic here is she's claiming that she's going to start fining. Other officials in the state are now making bills to make sure that DAs and other people do not fine people for calling about legitimate crimes, which theft is a legitimate crime.
Yeah.
This is I didn't want to go real hard on this, but this is tying in with all the other shit. I just brought it up that California a couple of years back made that amendment where they said felonies will now be $950. Well, the problem with that is that these people are going with trash bags and they're stealing up to $900, $950, and they're getting misdemeanors, still getting a lot of goods, and then the DAs are also just letting them go. On top of all the other shit, they're just letting them go.
Our patron Banderson says Sacramento Bee is our newspaper.
Okay, there it is. Good, good. So that's good. But what we're seeing is California is having issues with Walmart leaving, Target's leaving, you name it, Starbucks is leaving. People cannot and will not be in these cities anymore because they cannot put up with this shit. They can't deal with all the theft. They have to close shop. It's not affordable to them to do business anymore. So then Gavin Newsom comes out and he has to make other bills, which ties into that first thing, right? Where we said there's already bills in place, but sometimes you have to make other bills
to cover
the issues on the first ones. Gavin Newsom comes out, tries to make some bills that amend these things, but it's not working. People are just stealing left and right. That people like at gas stations, they're locking the doors
that proves right there the nuisance call. It's not a problem of not having. Like there's too many loopholes, or they're like having to make bills to cover other bills because you missed something. That's not the issue in that. The issue is enforcement.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like you can make all the bills you want, but if you don't enforce the fucking law, then people are going to do whatever the fuck they want and run rampant.
It's covering for something. Target is a business. When there is a theft, you call the police and you say, somebody right now is stealing at my store. I just caught somebody, because Target, Walmart, they always have security. Hey, we have somebody in our offices right now that just stole a bunch of shit. We need you over here, blah, blah, blah. They're basically just trying to say, this DA or this attorney is trying to say,
we don't have time for that.
We don't have time for it. You calling is hurting more than us, than handling situations. Just quit calling. And Target's like, fuck this. They're stealing. I'm going to call. Well, the police chief came out, I think in the article somewhere, and there's a quote saying like, hey, it is a citizen's right or a business's right to call the police when there's a crime taking place. A theft is a crime, and they have every right to call. That's why they're making these other bills or amendments to the law to make sure that people don't go rogue. But the fact that she could even go rogue is what bothers me. The fact that this person can just make up a thing that says, we're going to start fining you under nuisance.
Yeah.
For calling the police, because where does it stop? What if they say, well, listen, you have a town that's got this bad neighborhood, you have a lot of home break-ins or a lot of car theft. Like, think of your community. What do you have a lot of? People are calling, hey, my car got stolen. Another person, my car has been stolen.
Someone stole the cat out of my
And then they say, well, to protect these citizens, the ones doing the crimes, because we don't want them to all be a certain thing, we're actually going to fine you for calling the cops because your car was stolen. It's the same thing.
It's insanity.
It's insanity. The only difference is obviously Target's a large business with a lot of overhead, and every business has a little room for like theft. It's going to happen, shrink and theft and all that stuff.
Someone should just make the eye for an eye act.
I don't know what act that is.
All businesses. I should write this up and propose it to my representatives. All businesses. If you catch someone stealing from you, you can detain them, call the police, and if the police don't show up, you get to break that guy's hand.
That's not really eye for an eye, though.
Yeah, you steal, you lose the ability of using a hand. You steal again, we break the other hand.
What if it was like, if he tries to steal your car, you have the right to steal his first? You know what I'm saying? Like, or beat him and then steal his car and you get the rights to that car. You get his pink slip. It's the new pink slips. You know what I'm saying? Instead of racing, you just...
That's not the same thing. That's just giving them the thing they stole.
I know. Yeah, I know.
Like, you're caught fucking what we were talking about earlier with the whole trafficking and like raping and all that shit. You get caught, you get castrated.
The lesson to the whole thing, though, if we just look at the three things that we just talked about, the lesson
that's
is
probably extreme for a lot of people.
Common sense is being overtaken. This has been happening for years. Common sense is overtaken by somebody being concerned about another person's feelings being hurt, or another community, or another subculture, or another, whatever you want to call them, okay, in any situation, whether it's LGBT community, another race, all that shit's bullshit, but they're concerned that it's going to affect them. So we can't do the thing that's reasonable because we are afraid that it's going to affect somebody more than another.
But that's the point, is to affect somebody.
But isn't it racist to assume that it's going to affect another community? Is that not racist in itself? Is it not racist to say, well, by passing this law, the African American community is going to be affected more?
By passing by passing the SAVE Act, it's going to disproportionately affect Black and brown communities because we think they are unable they're not smart enough to figure out how to do this.
Well, they didn't say anything about that on that one.
Not this time, but they have said that before.
Yeah. Well, of course, because most of the people coming into this country are Mexican, Chinese, Russian. It's another another race. So of course it would affect other races. There's obviously white people coming into the country as well. You know what I mean? There's no. I don't know what the proportions are for illegal border crossings. I'm not sure, but I know there's a lot of Chinese nationals coming out. You know what I'm saying?
There is
quite a few. Listen. Nothing is gonna get fixed, man, and that's where I'm cynical about the whole thing. About how far can we actually take this over even just in a short term, like a couple of years, man.
On the local level, I think the local level will take longer.
The local level should not take long.
It should, because
no, it should be the quickest.
Well, the problem is all these ridiculous fucking things happening are in the weird, like, fucking California. So the Californians, the smart people are like, I'm fucking out of here. This is getting too weird, too fucking crazy. Sure. They left. So now it's all left is weird people. No offense to our people that live in California.
There's a lot of people that haven't moved.
But still, what I'm saying is the local level is still getting voted on by the group of people that agree with that kind of shit.
Well,
so
at some point,
when it comes to the federal thing, now you're doing the country as a whole, and the majority of the country as a whole doesn't think that way.
Yeah, but see, I think to me, it has to start at the local level, and I think that's the easiest to do. The federal level is so corrupt. Like, we're here, right? The rest of the country's everywhere around us.
Yeah.
And, like, we can't control the fraud throughout the entire country. We can't control.
I know, that's why I say the local level would take longer.
It shouldn't take long. Because I feel like at local level, your mayors, your DAs, all the things that we can vote on, we all vote on when we vote. Those are, to me, less corrupt. I'm not saying they're not corrupt. They're less corrupt and easy. You know what I mean? Because really only your community in general are voting on those people. At some point, there's enough people, to your point and to Greg's point when he's on, you believe that there's enough of a switch that people are starting to be swayed a certain way. Why is that happening?
Federally.
No, it's not federal. It's just the mindset is changing. That is not federal. That is local. I think people that have been.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I see what you're saying.
I'm saying that if you're left leaning and you're like, okay, I'm a Democrat. I'm not, but you guys know what I'm saying. I'm talking as a Democrat. I don't want to ever be captured. I'm a Democrat, and I've been voting this way for a long time. And up until the past couple of years, I believe that we're on the right track. But what's been happening, I can't get behind this. That's where you start seeing these people leaving the party, and they're starting to get centralized here. At a local level, they can say, maybe I need to pay attention to my DA a little more. Maybe I need to pay attention to the sheriff that I appoint, or the mayor that we bring in. You know what I'm saying? Because there's no one that wants to live in a community where violence is rampant, that theft is rampant, that people are not prosecuted when they should be, that trafficking is okay. Like, no one wants to be in that community, right?
No normal person.
I would have to say 95% of people in the community, good people, regardless of how we feel about each other, don't want that. So I think that at a local level, we could see people saying, I'm sick of the fucking car thefts. I'm sick of Walmart having to leave our community because they can't afford, whatever. There's too many people breaking this shit, right? I have to go get bleach or a fucking whatever from Walmart, and it's locked up in a cage. Like, that's fucking weird, man.
Yeah, that's weird.
I just watched this video, this guy who goes around. You may have seen him on TikTok. He goes to local businesses and he says, hey, I need 40 hot dogs, or I need 40 of your burgers, and he goes and hands them out to the homeless people. And a lot of times the owner of the business is like, oh man, listen, I'll go in with you, like you can pay for half or whatever. And it's this cool thing that he does, right?
Okay.
The video I saw today, he went in and he's like, hey, he saw this kid, he was collecting cans. He didn't buy food, but this kid was collecting cans, and he goes, hey man, how much money in cans do you think you have right now? The kid's like, I don't know, maybe $30 or something. He's like, bro, I'll give you $40, man. I'll buy the cans from you. Give you an extra couple bucks. He's like, dude, you don't have to do it. Anyways, he got the cans. He ended up giving the kid back the cans. Said, go take them in. You get extra money. Gave him a little bit more. And he's like, I'm going to go to the Minute Mart. I'm going to get you a water, get you a snack or something, dude. Yeah. So he goes to the Minute Mart, gets the water. He goes to get an ice cream bar. And he opens the door, and it's like a 7-Eleven. It's fucking locked.
The ice cream's locked up?
It's a padlock with a fucking thing.
They locked up the ice cream?
And the guy's like, what the fuck, man? Because he has like the cam on his chest or his hat or whatever. And he's like, what the fuck, man? It's locked up. And he's like, the fucking attendant came over and unlocked. He's like, bro, you get a lot of people stealing ice cream. He's like, dude, all the time. We have to lock everything up. They're stealing ice cream.
See, okay. That's not like poor, hungry people just needing something to eat, so they have to steal it. That's just dipshit people wanting a fucking...
No, I will tell you.
A fucking orange creamsicle.
I'll tell you this. This is true, man. A lot of the theft I dealt with when I was in Portland working was ice cream. The homeless stole ice cream in abundance, bro.
Why?
Ice cream is because it's dairy. It's very fatty.
Okay.
So when we asked...
You can't preserve it, especially if you're homeless.
But what they were saying, we asked the homeless, and this is just their belief in the community that they're in right now.
Is it like a currency?
No, it's they can eat ice cream and feel fuller. And because there's a lot of fats in it, and there's a lot of it's heavy and fats and dairy, it's not good for you, but they feel fuller by eating ice cream bars than they do just getting like a sandwich or something. And we had it all the time. They would steal. I mean, I can't tell you.
Is that real?
Yeah.
I always thought the logic was I'm going to go to an all-you-can-eat place, and then I'm going to get the ice cream as dessert because it will melt and fill in all the gaps I didn't fill.
No, I'm serious, man. Pete just says they also make drugs from it, ice cream.
That's what my grandpa used to say all the time.
Yeah. It is. There was a thing with it that people, and you'll see it. And I did see it. And they would come in, they'd steal candy bars. They'd steal the stuff that was like a lot of like sugars and fats and stuff in it. And to them, they were getting more bang for their buck. That's how they took it. So I do have that experience. I understand the ice cream. Honestly, I do.
That doesn't make any sense. Like, maybe it does make you feel fuller.
Yeah.
But you're going to be, I feel like you'd just be hungry again sooner.
Well, yeah, maybe. I don't know, man. I mean, the stuff that I had witnessed homeless eating was not good, healthy food, man. But I guess, it's better than nothing. And also,
well, I feel like the good, healthy stuff,
yeah,
the non-healthy stuff is probably just easier to steal.
Yeah,
you don't have to prepare it.
Yeah.
You don't have to do cook anything really. It's just there.
Yeah. I can't tell you how many times we saw a homeless person, because you'd lose track of them. You're supposed to watch them, but they would be on an aisle just eating the ice cream out of the box, straight up on the aisle, dude. I mean, candy bars and shit. They would just
I don't. That's just not giving a fuck.
That's the thing is I don't want to come across I have no sympathy.
That's when you walk over and you break their hand.
Well, I listen, man.
Eye for an eye act. Break their hand.
I told a lot of them. I told a lot of them that, especially because you recognize some of the people were the same people. But that's the thing I was telling you about with cops and stuff. I was like, man, listen, I have to call the cops now. We have to kick you out at minimum if you're not going to have to call the cops, But I was like, you got a fucking candy bar. You know what I'm saying? You could have literally just walked in here and you could have said, sir, I'm starving. I'm fucking starving.
Yeah.
Can you help me? And I would have rather just bought you this $2 candy bar and just given it to you. You know what I'm saying? I would have. I have no. If you're a decent human, you're like, man, I'm fucking hungry, man. I would have gave you my extra bar.
Yeah,
from lunch.
If you're honestly just and you're gonna say, hey, I need this.
Dude, I have a heart.
Can you help me out?
I'm not a fucking heartless human being, man. How much is a?
No, I'm not either. Yeah, I say fucking eye for an eye. I can break their hand,
I don't.
I'm halfway joking.
I know I know that
because I actually have gave money to bums before. I don't like them.
I don't.
I don't like them. I have, but this one guy, I think I've told the story back when it was Pardon My American a long time ago. There was this guy sitting outside this Minimar store, and I walk out, and I have my shit, and he goes, "Hey man, can you give me some change or something? I'm like $1 away from getting a beer."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Fuck, yeah, man, I got $1. Go get a beer, dude."
Yeah.
Like clearly, you're living a weird fucking life. You could probably use a beer right now.
Yeah.
So here's $1.
I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
You want a beer? Just say I want a beer.
Yeah, he's honest and he's like, he's real about what's going on. You're not trying to be a fucking weirdo like these people that down by my work that hold up the saving up for a funeral sign every fucking week, every day for the last 3-4 months, and they have a picture of this little baby on it.
Yeah.
Fuck off.
Yeah, man.
You're trying to fucking scam everybody.
And the other part of it is that there are help for people. There was a couple, a homeless couple. I actually have them on video, actually on my phone when we had the explosion at my work.
Oh yeah.
You could see them on my phone, and there was this couple, and they were together. They seemed loyal to each other. They were nice. They were nice people, but they were real dirty, real living the life, bro. And every month they got money, and they would come into the store once a month, basically same day every month. You know what I'm saying? Whatever, last Thursday of the month or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And they drop like $300, and they get like a check from the government or they whatever, and they come in and they would literally just get a cart, and they got lunch meats and bread, and fucking they didn't get any frozen shit, but they got all like fruits and vegetables, a lot of canned goods. And I was like, man, that's cool, man. If those people ever came in and said, dude, I'm out of money and I'm fucking starving, like they never stole from us. I never had to walk around and watch them. Mm-hmm. We just knew their situation. And what I don't understand is how can there be people like that and then it's because it's not about the homeless.
No, it
being
has
homeless
nothing to
does
do
not
with,
make you a bad
It has
person.
nothing to do with just being homeless.
No, it does.
Because there are factions of homeless.
Yes.
There's the people that are actually on hard times, which is, I feel like, less than the
less.
people that are almost choosing to be that way.
People get offended when you say that, but I'm telling you, be around it and you'll see that there's a lot of people that do not want out of that.
Especially now.
No.
I feel like it's way more, like, it used to be, like, especially up where we're from. Like, we live in Texas now. If there's any new people listening or watching, like, we came from around Portland, Oregon, between Portland, Oregon and Seattle, Washington.
Yeah.
And it used to be, like, you'd see some homeless. And clearly, like, there were people that just were hard on their fucking times. But now, there's a lot of homeless.
There's a lot.
And it's a majority of people that are just choosing to be that way. For whatever fucking reason. I don't understand.
There's real reason to do it. That's what people...
You get free shit, and you're getting handouts.
Listen, most people don't want to be dirty. Most people don't want to not be able to take a shower. Most people want to have money in their pocket that they can go buy things they want. But there's some people that like the idea that they can do drugs, they can stay up as late, they don't pay taxes, they sometimes get handouts, they can collect a lot of money, to be very honest with you. Yeah. It is, listen, I have sympathy for people going through hard times, but like I've said, a vast majority of there's so many community things out there, a vast majority of people are able to get out if they need to get out, or at least go through the phases, you know what I'm saying? But the problem is a lot of places in Portland, Seattle, and California, you have to be clean in order to go to these shelters, and they don't want to be. You know what I'm saying? So they're not getting the help because they can't go because they have to be clean to go, and they don't want to
be clean.
So when it comes to that, man, at the end of the day, again, just like sex, just like LGBT, I don't really care. If you want to be homeless and be out, I don't want to see you. But if you're, you know what I'm saying? If you want that life, don't give a shit. I really don't give a shit. I think, you shouldn't, but I don't care. If you're a good person, and there are good people out there. I've met a bunch of them that I think are very nice people who will never steal from you, who just want to, or they're hard times, but the majority of them suck. I'm just being honest with you. The majority of them suck. They'll rip you off. They'll try to pee on you. Literally. We had a lady come. I'll have to find the video. I have a lady that just came in and started soaking her vagina with fucking. It was during COVID, so we had when you walked into the store, we had the sanitizing booth that you could spray your cart. Sanitizing spray. You could wipe your cart down. She comes in, drops trowel, She was nasty.
Sanitize this, bitch.
Betty. I think her name was Betty.
You knew her name.
Yeah, she was a problem. She was a real problem, dude. And she just comes in, drops trout, and just starts spraying her vagina with our fucking spray. And she's cleaning up the old puss. You know what I'm saying? Disinfecting that.
Be good.
It wasn't good. Because that shit was dripping on the floor. We had to get her out, and I'm like, I don't want to fucking touch you because your vagina's out. You know what I'm saying?
You just kicked her out the door.
She was bipolar, and she was fucking wild, man. Like she definitely would try to stab you or something. You know, she tried lighting our box bin on fire because she was mad at. Like she's just a crazy person. You can't save that person.
Bad news, Betty. Huh?
Yeah, you can't save her, dude. You can't save her. Like I'm serious.
Well, and that's why there's a reason. Like maybe there should be the mental institutions back.
I'm not against it. I think it needs to be regulated. I think we need to make sure that people aren't
like
being
we can't
abused.
be doing fucking science experiments and the fucking shit.
No.
That was a bad time.
No.
But there does need to be
There has to be a place for people.
some places to take care of people like that, because there is a lot of crazy people.
Agree.
So
We went way over, man. I had a couple
did.
of really good articles we didn't get to. God damn it, man. There was a Lego heist, man.
well, let's cover it real quick.
Okay, fuck. I got a
Fuck
minute.
it.
This is so me. This is so exciting to me. You guys know I love toys, man. I love collectibles, and I thought this picture was hilarious because when you see, I don't know if you're showing it yet.
Oh my god.
You think of like the cops, man. They have the big heist and they have all the fucking cocaine and shit.
We just busted all the fentanyl factories and with the weed heists and all that shit.
And the dude with the gun, they're like, "There's enough fentanyl here to kill all of America 10 times."
Oh yeah,
over.
it reminds me of like the scene from what's that movie?
I don't know.
God damn it.
You had it. You had it there.
Oh, it was right there. God dang it.
You'll think of it. Anyways, I cracked a little smile because this photo is of 4 police officers who they busted a Lego. It was a Lego bust. And they have $200,000 worth of Legos.
Jesus.
And the photo is just brilliant. It's just a fucking dream of Legos just behind these people.
What in the fuck?
So I looked into it. It's actually Eugene, Oregon that this happened.
Yeah, Springfield Police. That's funny.
Yeah. So what it really, I mean, we don't have to get knee deep. It's not worth it, but there's some great Legos on there, bro. I see the Ghostbuster Lego on the right side.
Oh, right there, that huge one?
My dream Lego is right to the left of this, man. 4 Legos to
Right
the
there?
left. Nope. Keep going. Nope. Yeah, Millennium Falcon, dude.
Millennium
That is
Falcon,
the
right there.
$800-900 Millennium Falcon. I want that so bad. What it was there was a Lego shop, a bricks shop. They call it, brick stores where you sell.
Oh, there's the Back to the Future car right there too. Yeah.
There was a Lego shop in Eugene, Oregon, that they got word that local thieves were going to Targets and Walmarts just stealing Legos to the mall, stealing Legos,
And then reselling them.
selling them to this Lego shop.
Oh.
And the Lego shop is buying them for heavily discounted prices. And then these people would turn around and buy drugs and do drug shit.
Of course.
And so they
drug
became privy to the fact that the business, this Lego shop, knew that they were stolen goods.
Oh.
And we're kind of like, listen, I know they're stolen, so I'll give you $200 for this $900 Lego set, and you get to make money.
So they were
these.
in on the shady shit.
They were in on it. So they did a huge bust. There was $200,000 worth of Legos. They went into a van and they took everything that they had out of the store. A big old bust. But I find it. Well, first of all, look at that. They did it. They actually got a drone.
An
to get
aerial view.
It's a lot of fucking toys, bro. And I love me some toys, bro. I love me some toys. But
God, I wonder how much they've already sold to them.
oh, they've been probably doing it for years. I think this was like a multi-month or year-long thing. They were really going into it
That's
for a while.
hilarious.
But I just thought it was funny.
I love how the cops are like, dude, get that drone shot.
Yeah,
dude.
well,
get that
listen,
drone shot.
I got to be real with you. It's really impressive.
It's a lot of Legos.
You know when they are saying the fentanyl, it's like, this is enough to kill America 10 times over, fentanyl. And this one they say, this is enough to make kids happy for 10 years straight back here. Legos is a market, bro. That's all really what I want to come down to. Like, as a collector myself, I see value in these things sometimes, and there's certain ones that are very expensive, very valuable. It's weird to think that they're taking these things and utilizing them for that matter, but that's the reality of shit. But they get to return all those toys, and hopefully a bunch of kids have some good times. They can sell them for cheap. I imagine that
they get to return them.
Well, they will not return them, but I mean, I would imagine, when the police have like their auctions and shit. I'm not real sure how it goes, but I don't know how you would return them back to Target. I imagine, or Walmart or any of those, they probably get their losses unless they've been keeping track. They may have. I'm not sure.
Well, they all have to keep track of their losses.
But I would imagine the police are probably going to auction them off. Maybe I have no idea how that.
I don't know how that works.
I don't know, but hopefully,
because what happens to all that shit? Like if say it's not a Lego bust, maybe it is a fentanyl bust or a cocaine bust. What actually ends up happening to all those drugs?
Well, they burn them. Supposedly.
Do they burn them?
Supposedly.
Or does some cops take them home for a good weekend?
There's that too. But they're supposed to burn them off. They have like incinerators or whatever that they burn.
But they're just going to burn Legos?
But like when they have like stolen vehicles, this. When
they do have
or they have
unclaimed
merchandise or unclaimed stuff that was stolen that nobody's claimed that they auction that. Yeah. If I was the police, here's what I would do. If no one claimed it or they didn't know who it goes to, so they can't really do it, I would just say we're going to use these. We're going to give them away for Christmas gifts.
Guaranteed.
Right?
Target and all those places, whoever they stole them from, already put in like their insurance stuff for their losses.
Yeah,
they already got their money for that shit.
Well, they don't have insurance for losses like that.
No,
it's just a factored in thing that they have in their budget. There's just expected loss. So you have
so
loss.
That's already accounted.
But they could have reported it to the police saying like, hey, a guy just walked out with a Millennium Falcon, it's $900. You know what I'm saying?
It was under $650, so he's good.
Under $950. It has to be $950.
Oh, $950.
It's underneath that range. But who knows? I don't know how you keep track. But listen, at the end of the day, man, I hope the police, if anything, they can give them out for Christmas gifts, man. You know what I'm saying? Eugene, Oregon, all the kids get a fucking Lego.
Peaches in the chat says they give all the cocaine to Hunter.
That's probably true. That's probably true. Guys, we fucking love you. Thank you for joining us on Rumble.
Thank you for the support. If you haven't already, hit that like button down here on the video.
Follow us.
Make sure you're following and subscribing. Follow us. Get us over on audio wherever you listen to it.
Yep.
And then
get on Patreon, dude.
Get on Patreon. We have a call-in show this Friday.
Yes, sir.
Tomorrow, or not tomorrow. Next day.
2 days from now. Be safe, everybody.
We'll see you guys later.
We enjoy you.